Space Jam: A New Legacy was directed by Malcolm D. Lee and it stars LeBron James, Don Cheeto, Cedric Joe, and the Looney Tunes themselves. And this movie is a 25-year waited sequel to the first Space Jam movie. So let's get into it. So this movie now stars LeBron James, not Michael Jordan from the first movie, but LeBron James this time. So in this movie, LeBron is trying to get his son, Dom, played by Cedric Joe, to play basketball just like him. And then his son Dom's all like, I just don't want to. All his son Dom wanted to do is all his son Dom wanted to do is video game stuff, like video game stuff, like say build video games or create video game and video game characters or whatever. But when they go to the Warner Brothers and they go to this Warner Brothers, the Warner Brothers studios in Burbank, they both get kidnapped. And when they both get kidnapped and get taken into the Warner Brothers serververse, who's taken over by Algae Rhythm, who's taken over by Algae Rhythm, played by Don Cheeto. And then Algae Rhythm goes and tells LeBron, if you want your son back, you're gonna have to beat me in a basketball game. And then LeBron finds the Looney Tunes. And when he teams up with the Looney Tunes, in order to get Dom back, in order for LeBron to get his son back, LeBron must team up with the Looney Tunes by beating the Goon Squad and Algae Rhythm in order for him to get his son back. And LeBron and Dom both get home safely. And now we got our movie. And I gotta tell you, this movie, to my opinion, was freaking awesome. I love this movie. Space Jam: A New Legacy was easily, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I mean, I did see a couple of announcements about them making a Space Jam 2. But when I heard Warner Bros. Is making a Space Jam 2, saying we're gonna make this way better than let's make a sequel out of this movie and see if we can make this better than the first movie. But then I was looking at them like, Space Jam 2? Y'all making a Space Jam 2? Okay, but then everyone who have seen the first movie and who those have watched Space Jam 1 be looking like, why do we need a sequel? Some of them wanted to see. I think some of the fans who watched the first movie like, they should have made a sequel. We need a sequel. And some of the fans who watched the first movie and some of the fans who have seen the first movie were like, we don't need a sequel. Why can't they just leave this movie alone? And I was like, to my opinion, I think they should have either left this movie alone or they should have made a sequel like a while ago. But this movie took so long. I don't know what took them 25 years to make a sequel. I don't know what happened. Or maybe they were trying to find a better director and a better NBA basketball player who can actually act or something like that. And also bring the Looney Tunes back from the first movie, which is cool. Now let's start off with LeBron James. Now I'm gonna tell you, LeBron James in this movie is really good in this movie, but sometimes he's actually trying the best. He was trying the best he can to have his acting really well. His acting in this movie is okay. Like I said, he's trying. He's trying the best he can to make his acting really good, but he's just trying. Excuse me. But all LeBron in this movie, all he cared about is getting his son back. So I think to my opinion, he's actually really great in this movie. He's easily the best part of this movie. And also here is his son, Dom, played by Cedric Joe. Cedric Joe in this movie he's actually really good in this movie, but I think he's trying as well, but I think his acting could have been a lot better. His acting could have been a little bit or a lot better. But I think he's really good in this movie, because all his character cares about is just doing video game stuff. And he's like, I don't want to play basketball just like my dad. All I cared about is doing like play and create video games or build video games or whatever, yada yada yada, something like that. But I think Cedric Joe was really good in this movie. And who else? And you know who also was really great in this movie? Don Cheeto. Don Cheeto is really great as the villain. I think this villain really was way better than the last villain from the first movie. Like, okay, if you look at the alien villain, who was voiced by I believe Danny DeVito from the first movie, I think the villain from the first movie, he was not in the movie all that much, but I think they could have done something better with his. They could have done better with the villain, the alien villain from the first movie, which I didn't like the alien villain from the first movie. I only liked him a little bit, but I wish they could have actually had something, have him, give him, I wish they actually gave him something to do or gave him something to say that's more villainish. But with Don Cheeto was way better. Don Cheeto in this movie, and I was just like, y'all got War Machine. Y'all got War Machine from the Marvel Cinematic Universe playing a villain in Space Jam. His acting was really good. I think Don Cheadle's acting as a villain was really good. He's given so much attitude. He's actually being an actual bad guy. He says something that's more villain, that he feels like an actual villain. He just says things like an actual villain normally says, like say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna take LeBron's about to lose his family, his friends, whatever, and everything he loves, or something like that. And I think Don Cheeto was really good as the villain. Yeah. Seeing War Machine from the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the bad guy, cool, right? That's awesome. So let's talk about the Looney Tunes. The Looney Tunes are back from the first movie. I think the Looney Tunes were really cool. It's great to see the Looney Tunes once again after the events of the first movie, since they were both. So I was like, well, at least the Looney Tunes are back, because even though this is a Looney Tunes movie, they brought all the Looney Tunes back, like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Tweety Bird, Sylvester the Cat, Lola Bunny. He was actually from the first movie, which is a plus. And they brought Speedy back. And I mean, well, actually, I don't know if Speedy was actually in the first movie. I haven't watched the first movie in a minute. And like I said, and also Porky Pig and Granny and some other and the rest are also back. Are also back from the first movie. But I think the Looney Tunes, they do Looney Tunes stuff. But when you see them in 2D animation, I think the 2D animation looks really cool. It's great to see the Looney Tunes back. It's been so long. So the Looney Tunes, when you see the Looney Tunes, what really surprised me about them is they were 2D animation to 3D CGI versions of themselves. Like, when you see the Looney Tunes in 3D CGI, live action version of themselves, when I saw a couple of first looks, when I saw a first look of Bugs Bunny and Tweety Bird in a couple of photos, seeing them in 3D CGI, like Bugs Bunny, Tweety Bird, and Lola Bunny, when I saw them for the first time in 3D CGI and the rest of the other Looney Tunes characters in CGI forms for the first time, I almost lost it and say, oh my god. And actually, I was shocked. I was actually shocked when I saw them in 3D CGI. I was blown away seeing them in CGI form for the first time. And I was just like, they feel real. Seeing the Looney Tunes, the CGI version of themselves, I think they feel more real. They feel like real life CGI characters. They don't feel like uncompleted CGI characters. They feel more completed. And I think they did a good job with that. And what they did. And now let's talk about Lola Bunny. Now I heard some people were talking about Lola Bunny's not sexy in this movie. She was sexy in the first movie. Now Lola Bunny in the first movie was really sexy, but this Lola Bunny is not. Lola Bunny in this movie is not sexy in this one. But I'm gonna tell you, Lola Bunny voiced by Zendaya. I gotta tell you, Zendaya was really good as Lola Bunny, but I was like, where's the original voice actress from the first movie? What happened to her? I don't know what happened to her, or maybe she didn't really know they were making a Space Jam 2, or maybe Warner Bros. Didn't invite her back or anything, I don't know. But I gotta tell you, Lola Bunny, voiced by Zendaya, I think Zendaya was great casting. I think her acting was really, really good. I really liked her acting in this movie as Lola Bunny. Zendaya was really good in this movie, but I wish they actually brought the original voice actress back. I don't know. But seeing Lola Bunny, I think Lola Bunny not being too sexy in Space Jam 2, I didn't have any issues with it, but some people did. Some people didn't. Be like, yeah. They were like, why y'all make her sexual? Why'd y'all make her too sexual? This is a kid's movie. She was too sexual in the first movie, but in this one, she's not sexy at all. She was out. They made her non-sexual in this one. But I think Lola Bunny not being sexual is, I think, to my opinion, I didn't want her being sexy in the first movie because it's a kids movie, and I'm like, this is a Looney Tunes movie. I mean, I don't know if Lola Bunny was actually sexy when she first arrived for the first time. I mean, she was sexy in the first movie, like I said, but in this one, she's not sexy at all. I didn't have any issues with it, but I think Zendaya was really good as the character. But, and also too, let's talk about the Goon Squad. The Goon Squad, oh my god, I think the Goon Squad were really great, incredible villains in this movie. But because I think the Goon Squad in this movie, I think the Goon Squad were really my favorites. I like the Goon Squad, but with the Monstars from the first movie, I like the Monstars from the first movie, but I wish they did something really better with them. But even though they were really good cartoon characters of themselves, but seeing them in the first movie, I think they could have done something more better with them, like have them be more like the bad guy. They are the bad guys in the movie, but I wish they did something better with them. The Goon Squad were really cool villains. I think the Goon Squad were really better. I think I love the Goon Squad. Like, one of them is a bird, one of them is a robot, the other one is a spider, one of them is a snake, and the other one who turns water and fire all at once. And I think the Goon Squad were awesome bad guys in this movie, but the Monstars could have been better, but the Goon Squad was better. And and also too, the rest and everybody else who's also really good in this movie. You know what's really cool about this movie? You know, this is easily better. Now, there are a lot. I mean, I think there were a bunch of like before this movie actually came out. I think there were a bunch of questions if this movie is this movie going to be better than the first movie? Is this better than the first movie? Is this longer than the first movie? Is this way bigger and stronger and fresher than the first movie? Yes, it's way better than the first movie but is it any good? No, but I heard some negative reviews about this movie, but then I was just like, whoa, no, hold on, people. I understand y'all didn't ask for a sequel. I get that, but y'all didn't have to go too harsh about this movie. But to my opinion, I actually enjoyed this movie a lot. I loved it. But there are a couple of things I liked and some things I didn't like. Now I'm gonna tell you, now I gotta tell you, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I gotta tell you, all these Warner Brothers, the Warner Brothers serververse, which was taken over by Don Cheeto, Don Cheeto's character, Algae Rhythm. I think the Warner Brothers serververse in CGI looks awesome, because when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, oh my god, that looks awesome. Seeing seeing Algae Rhythm in the serververse as the bad guy, I think the Warner Brothers serververse looks absolutely cool in CGI. You know what's really cool in CGI? You get to see all these incredible Warner Brothers planets. You get to see all these incredible Warner Brothers planets in this movie. You can see all these incredible Warner Brothers planets that's LeBron is like flying around them. When I saw the trailer, I was just like, wow, this is really cool. You know what? That was actually really nice to see. It's great to see. I think that was really cool to see these Warner Brothers planets, like these Warner Brothers properties and planets in CGI. Like you get to see the Game of Thrones, the Wizard of Oz, the Matrix, or the DC comic world, or some other Warner Brothers planet worlds from Warner Brothers properties. I think that's really cool to see them in CGI. You know what's really cool in CGI? We get these incredible Warner Brothers cameos. We can see these incredible Warner Brothers cameos. Like when I saw the trailer for this movie, when I saw the Iron Giant in CGI mostly for the second time, because he actually appeared in Ready Player One in CGI. But when I saw him in this movie, I was blown away. But then when I saw the Hanna-Barbera characters in CGI, the Hanna-Barbera characters in CGI look really nice. They were really cool in CGI. I thought this was amazing. This actually gave me attention. I was just like, this movie reminds me of Ready Player One, which I'll get into in a bit. But seeing the Hanna-Barbera characters in CGI looks really cool. And but they're not the only ones in the movie. Like the Iron Giant, we get to see a bunch of Warner Bros. Cameos. Like we get to see a couple of Warner Bros. Cameos. Like the characters from Mad Max, the characters from the Matrix movies, the characters from the Iron, or let's say the Iron Giant's the only one in this movie. King Kong's in this movie, and everyone, and also these other, and also more and more Warner Bros. Cameos is in this movie. I saw that in the trailer. It gave me so much attention. I was shocked when I saw every single Warner Bros. Cameo in this movie. That's really cool. Now, and what's really now with celebrity cameos, I'm not gonna tell you about the Warner Bros. Cameos. You gotta watch the movie. All I can tell you is about the Warner Bros. Cameos and the properties, and that's pretty much it. Now, and what's really cool, what I really enjoy about this movie as well is the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack from Space Jam. I like the soundtrack from the first movie. I do love the soundtrack from the first movie, but Space Jam: A New Legacy, I still love the soundtrack from Space Jam 2: A New Legacy. Like we get to hear some of the music and the soundtrack in this movie. I really love the soundtrack in this movie, but I also love the soundtrack in the first movie. Yeah, from the first movie. I like both. I like both of these soundtracks in this movie because both of these soundtracks from Space Jam 1 and Space Jam 2, I love them. Because I love the music of this movie. And there are a couple of things I did not like about this movie. There are a couple of things that really did not impress. One of the things that this movie should have had, even though this is a kids movie, I get that this is a Looney Tunes kids movie, but I wish this movie could have been a lot better. Like say, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was just like, is this movie a little bit more family oriented? But after watching the whole movie, I was like, no, this is a kids movie. I was just like, I wish they did something. I wish they give something that not just for the kids, but also for the whole entire family to watch. I wish this was actually a little bit more family friendly. Like this is a family friendly kids movie, but I wish this was actually not just for the kids, but also for the families who will also just like will get a chance to like watch this movie together and be like, I was just like, I wish this movie was a little bit more family oriented. If this movie was more family oriented, I've been okay with it. But I was just like, when I say family oriented, I'm talking about like have the whole family watch, like have your whole family sit with you, watch this whole movie, and they'll probably enjoy it. And there are a couple, and the thing that the story that there are a couple of things I did not like about this movie is the ending. The ending scene of this movie, I'm not going to spoil for you. You have to watch. Like I said, you gotta watch the whole movie. The ending scene of this movie looks awful. I think the ending scene could have been a lot better. But when I was watching the ending scene of the first movie, I was just like, yeah, I think they could have done something better with the ending scene in the first movie. But in Space Jam 2: A New Legacy, I think they could have done better with the ending scene. The ending scene was kind of a little bit more rushed and a little bit fast-paced. I wish they could have done something better with the ending scene of of Space Jam, both Space Jam 1 and Space Jam 2. They could have done a little bit better with both of these ending scenes. But I think the ending scene of Space Jam 2 was a little bit, with Space Jam 2, with the ending scene, like I said, I think the ending scene of Space Jam: New Legacy was a little bit more quick pace. I was just like, no, I was like, whoa, now slow down, let's take a breath, let's take it easy, but then nothing. I was just like, okay, whatever. But I think the rest of the but also the plot of the movie, I think the plot of the movie, my only issues with this movie, this is like a father and son movie because this is about LeBron trying to get his son back, which I truly understand. But the only thing I did not understand is, the only thing I don't get is why this is a little bit like a father-son movie. This is more like a father and son movie because LeBron's trying to get his son back, and I truly understand that. But I wish the Looney Tunes, I feel like the Looney Tunes in this movie have more screen time in this movie. I think they're giving so much in this movie, but I think the Looney Tunes were really cool characters in this movie, including the first film. I think, even though, and also too, my only issues with this movie is copied off of Ready Player One. Ready Player One, like if you watch Ready Player One, they have a bunch of properties, like let's say nostalgic properties from video games or in some older nostalgic movies that no one has not watched for a long, long time, including some nostalgic movie cameos for the first time that you get to see in Ready Player One. Ready Player One was easily one of my favorite movies, but I think Space Jam shouldn't even copy off of this movie, off of Ready Player One. But if you watch Ralph Breaks the Internet, Ralph Breaks the Internet actually takes place inside the Internet, where Ralph and Vanellope were both going inside the Internet. And Ralph Breaks the Internet has their own properties. Like there's like we get to see like cameos and properties from Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars, the Muppets, and some other cameos and properties from the movie of Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is kind of cool. They have their own thing. And Space Jam: A New Legacy, they showed their own thing. Space Jam: A New Legacy, with Space Jam: A New Legacy, they have Warner Brothers properties. They have these and Warner Brothers properties, cameos, and everything Warner Brothers. But I think that's about it for this movie review for Space Jam 2: A New Legacy, and I think that's about it for Space Jam 2. Space Jam: A New Legacy, I gotta tell you, this is easily one of my favorite movies. I can't wait for this movie to come out on DVD or in Blu-ray, sometime later this year. I can't wait to watch the whole movie again on DVD and Blu-ray by the time it comes out, something like that. But I think that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Space Jam 2: A New Legacy, and that's about it. So be sure to like, subscribe, press the notification button, follow me on Instagram, comment down below, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.